Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom. It's your brother Joshua back with another quick coffee break and a quick exhortation for the brothers and sisters in the truth. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and all glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. Right? Want to come with a quick cold cut this morning on having confidence of what you're asking the Lord for. Right? You must have confidence in what you're going to approach the Lord for and what you're praying for, right? The Lord is not looking for, any man that comes and lacks confidence and truly doesn't believe that the Lord will give him what he desires in his heart, right? He wants a man to stand upright and ask him. You are his children, right? He's your father. You should ask him in confidence and believe that whatever you ask the Lord, you're going to get those things, right? And 10 times out of 10, the Lord already knows what you want and what you need. But he's looking to see if you are going to have the strength enough to stand before him, the boldness, and ask him for those things and be real about it and believe that he will do those things for you. Right, I'm going to kick it off with this real quick. The book of Matthew, man. Right, real quick. Let's get the book of Matthew chapter 6. Right, the book of Matthew chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse number... I'm going to just start at verse 5. And it reads, "And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are. For they love standing in the streets and in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward." So you don't want to be like these hypocritical Christians and things of that nature where they want to be out in the open and, they want everybody to see them and what they doing and, making them look as they're holier than thou and things of that nature, and they're praying to the Most High. A lot of them are, 99.9% not real about what they're asking for or what they're doing. They just want to be seen of men, right? It says, "But thou, when thou prayest, enter into the closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to the Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly." So this is a personal connection with you and the Father. You're not supposed to be out looking for eyes to be upon you when you're praying and things like that, holding hands in big circles and things of that nature. No, right? You want to have that personal session with your Father and ask in confidence, right, and boldness of what you need in that present time or what you're inquiring. And it says, "But when ye pray, use not vain repetition as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard, and for their much speaking." Right? So you don't want to be constantly asking the Most High for something over and over and over again, thinking that he ain't heard you, man. Right? You don't want to be sitting here, using all this vain repetition over and over and over again, man, and saying, "Well, man, I asked him this last Tuesday, I asked this 3 months ago and I still ain't, I don't think he can hear me. Let me use this amplifier and let me turn up the mic and let me scream it up to the heavens, man." No, you don't want to do that, man. That's wicked. Right? The Lord can hear you, but everything is on the Lord's time. It's not your time. Right? In verse 8, it says, "Be not ye therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things you have need of before ye ask." So the Lord already know what you need, man. Right? But he's looking for you to stand up boldly before him and say, "You know what? I'm going to see if he's going to come ask me for that. Because I know this is what he needs. I know this is what he wants. But let's see if he's going to come before me and he's going to ask those things of me." How confident is he going to stand up? Right? Is he going to let that last week's sin, him falling short, is he going to let that keep him from asking me this? Or is he going to come to me and he's going to sincerely ask me, right, to my face? And he's going to be patient enough to wait for me to give that thing to him. Right? That's what the Lord is looking for. And he doesn't want that vain babbling and repetition and things of that nature. And, oh, I need this. And, oh yeah, Lord, I remember. Can I, you can't do that before the Most High, man. That's the King of Kings, the Lord of all lords, man. The God of the universe, right? You cannot do that. Right? Let's get this precept. Let's go to Sirach. Let's go to Sirach chapter 18 and verse number 23. And it reads, before thou prayest, prepare thyself, and be not as one that tempted the Lord. So before you go to the Lord and you make your prayer, you have to prepare and bind up the things that you're going to say to him. What are you going to ask the Most High that you need, what you want, right? You have to already know what you're going to come before the Lord before. You can't be sit here, speaking and asking for one thing and then pop up and, oh yeah, so I remember that I needed this and I needed that, right? You can't do that before the Most High. You have to already know what you're coming for. That's a indicator of your confidence, man. That you're coming before. Now, I already know what I'm coming before you for. So I understand that this is what I need, right? And that I am focused on. So I'm going to bring this matter to you. And I'm going to pray to you about this matter. I'm going to ask you of this thing, right? That's what the Lord is looking for. A confident brother or a confident sister that's going to come before him, right? And humbled in sincerity and understand, look, this is what I need, Father. This is what I need of you, man. And not being, tossed to and fro, confused, or just asking for anything, man. Right? That's not what you want to do before the Most High. That's wicked. And that shows that you have a lot of lack of confidence because you're not understanding what you truly want. Right? Let's get this one real quick. Let's go to the book of James, right? Go to a classic. Let's go to James chapter 1. All right. This is the book of James chapter 1. And let's go to verse number, I'm going to start at verse number 4. And it says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh that giveth to all men liberally, right? And it says, upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. So the Lord is willing to give you wisdom, right? If you want, to understand or learn precepts more, or have just the remembrance of precepts, or more knowledge of the scriptures, things of that nature, the Lord will give you that wisdom, right? But it reads and it says, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, is driven with the wind and tossed. So what happens when you're in the sea and it's a mighty wind that's gusting over the waters? The waves are roaring. They're tossed to and fro, right? And the boat is unsteady, or whatever vessel that's on the water, right? It's rocking here and it's rocking there and things like that. That's what the Lord likens you coming before him with the lack of confidence and not understanding what you're truly solely praying to him for. You're jumping from one point to another point, right? One thing to this thing. The Lord said, don't come at him with that wavering prayer, man. Right? Be solid in what you're asking for and pray for that thing, right? And it reads, moving on to verse 7, for let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. So if you come before the Lord with with the lack of confidence and your mind is here and your mind is there, the Lord's not going to give that thing to you, man, because he believes you don't really want that, man. You don't really want that, right? Because if you really are confused on what you're asking for, then that means that's not what you really want, You shouldn't be confused on something that you absolutely want or need. You should already know this is the thing that I'm coming before you to acquire of. I'm inquiring this thing of you, so this is what I need. Right? And it says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, man. So you're wondering why you haven't received, you know, that notice of, you know, my wisdom increasing in these last days. You're wondering why you can't remember precepts, or you're even wondering why, you know, I haven't got a call for that new job that I need, right? Because you're not confident that the Lord is going to give that to you, man. You're wavering, you're tossing to and fro because you don't really believe, you lack that faith at the end that the Lord can really do those things for you. So you just stumbling and you jumbling over your prayers, and you just, you know, you're just doing whatever you want to do, man. And a lot of times, brothers and sisters approach the Lord and they pray for things that, of course, they truly don't need, but they want, just because they want to have something, maybe more than somebody else, or they want a job. Hey, I just want to make $30 an hour, man. Just, hey, man, because I can have a lot of money. I can do this, I can do that, I can travel. You know, hey, man, I can buy that new car that I want, things of that nature. Things that have, you know, nothing to do with, you know, your salvation or anything else, right? Vain things. And the Lord's not going to deal with that. The Lord is not just going to give you anything just because, right? You want to look good in front of that sister that, you know, live around the corner. So I want to buy this new Bugatti or whatever it is out now, you know, and I just want to look good cruising around the corner. Lord, I ain't going to drive it everywhere. I'm going to park it, you know, all week. But on Sunday, I'm pulling that thing out, man. That's the only day I want to drive it, you know. But hey, I need that, right? No, man, the Lord not dealing with that because you're not really serious, man. You're trying to be wicked in what you're asking for, and that is tempting the Most High, man. And the Lord said, don't do that. Don't play with that, man. And that's the reason why you know, you're not receiving the things that you ask for, because it's to be consumed upon your own lust, or, you know, you don't have the confidence in truly asking for those things. You don't truly believe that the Lord is going to give that to you. Right? So let's get another precept. Let's stay in James. Let's go to James chapter 4, right? It's the book of James. I'm going to start, chapter 4 and verse number, I'm going to just start at verse 1. It says, from whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence when, Salakia, let me start over from the top, right? This is James 4 and 1. It says, from whence comes wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence even of your lusts and war in your members? Ye lust and have not. Ye kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. Ye fight and war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not. Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, and ye may consume it upon your lust. Right? So you ask and you don't have these things. You don't receive these things because you ask amiss. Right? And you want to consume these things upon your own lust. You want to have them just because you want to have them. A new car, a new house, a new job, a new woman, or a new man. You know, riches in your bank, right? The flyest clothes, all those things. You have that just because you lust after those things, and they mean nothing. All vain things, man, that cannot profit you anyway in life at all. You know, and he says, even though you can have some of these things like a new job, a house, and things of that nature, but you're asking upon your own lust, and you're coming at me wrong with it. It's nothing wrong that you want a new place for your family. You want to get into a new home, you know, and have a proper living space and comfortability and things of that nature for you and your family. But you asking him in a wrong manner, man. That's what a miss means. Right? Let's get the definition of a miss real quick. Right? This is the definition of a miss. It says not quite right, inappropriate, or out of place. So he's telling you that you're asking these things out of place. It's inappropriate to ask of these things at this time. And plus, you want to consume these things in your own lust. You don't want to do it just because you love your family. You want to give them a bigger space and be comfortable, things of that nature. No, you're doing that because you want to be seen of men. You want to walk around in a mansion with 10 rooms and things like that. That's not the time for that. You need to be asking and praying for forgiveness, man, for your sins. Making atonement for your family. Things of that nature. Getting back right with the Most High. Not worried about, cars and clothes and women. Right? Let's give a couple of key words to that. The word amiss, it says out of order or incorrect, right? Improper, right? Just plainly wrong, right? You're asking the Lord these things wrongly, not being sincere about what you really need, man. Right? And the Lord's not dealing with that. Right? Let's get another precept real quick. Let's go to Sirach, right? Sirach, chapter 18, right? Get a couple more. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 18, and I'm a Slakia. Let's see. That's not what I wanted. I want Sirach, chapter 5, right? Right, yeah. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 8. It says, set not thy heart upon goods unjustly gotten, right? For they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. So you don't want to set your mind on things that's unjustly gotten, these goods. You're crying and begging and you're pleading before the Lord for vain things, right? And it says, well, now, not with every wind, and go not into every way, for so doeth the sinner that has a double tongue, right? And it says, be steadfast in thy understanding, and let thy words be the same. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer. So you always want to be sincere about what you're asking for, man. And you want to wait patiently for those things that you ask for. You can't be pacing in your living room, sweating, with your hands behind your back, man, walking back and forth, wondering when the Lord is going to bless you with what you've been praying for. First of all, he see you not sincere about it. You're trying to consume it on your own lust, right? And you weren't confident first and foremost when you went before him, right? And it shows in the lack of your patience. Because you haven't received it on the time that you thought you should get it. Right? When in fact, it is on the Lord's time. When he sees fit that you need these things. Right? So you have to always be confident that the Lord is going to give you what you ask for. You want to be sincere in the things that you ask for. Right? And don't be tossed to and fro when you go before the Most High, tempting him for the things that you're inquiring of, right? You want to have the utmost confidence that you're doing the things that you are supposed to do, right? The wonderful works of the Lord, man. Presenting yourself as that living sacrifice, right, before the Lord, that you may receive those things that you are asking for. Being bold in the face of the Most High, man. Right? Let's get this real quick in Hebrews. All right, let's get the book of Hebrews. Let's get Hebrews chapter 4. Right, this is the book of Hebrews chapter 4. And verse number 16, it says, let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. So that's what you want to do, is come boldly, right, before the throne of grace, that you can obtain those things in the time of need. The Lord knows what you have need of. And if you continue to have that confidence before the Most High, He's going to give you those things that you ask of in the time that you need it. So you must come boldly before the Lord and believe that He's going to give those things to you, man. Right? And that's what we got to remember in these last days. And stop being afraid to come ask the Lord. And a lot of times, brothers and sisters are afraid because, they've been in the midst of sin and they're not confident that the Lord is going to give them what they need or what they ask for. Right? That's why we have to, ask for forgiveness of our sins. Come boldly before the Most High and do so. Be sincere about it and turn away from those things so you can have the confidence to ask the Most High of those things that you need. Right? Let's get this precept in Philippians. Right? I'm going to get one more. Right? This is the book of Philippians, right? This is the book of Philippians, Salakia. The book of Philippians, chapter 1 and verse number 6, it says, being confident of this very thing, that which have begun a good work in you will perform it unto the day of Mashiach Yahushua. Right? Let me read that one more time. It says, being confident of this very thing, that he which have begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Mashiach Yahushua. So you got to be confident that the Lord is going to perform that good work, that thing that you ask of, man, in you. And it's going to remain until the coming of the Son of Man. Right? So you got to have that confidence, man, and really truly believe that the Lord is going to do that and that He's going to reward you those things that you ask of, because you're confident in yourself, coming before the Most High and believing that He is, and He is going to give those things to you that you ask of. Right? Let's leave it out with this one. Let's go back to Hebrews, right? I'll leave it with this. Right? This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse number 6. It says, but without faith it is impossible to please Him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. Right? So you must believe that He is a rewarder of those that diligently seek Him and come in confidence, full of faith, and that they're going to receive those things that they ask of the Most High. Right? But with that, I hope it was edifying. You take these precepts and apply them to your life, man. Right? With that, Shalom.